Hey.
Married to music. Tune in every Monday.
Okay, happy Monday.
We're trying to get our M's up.
Ooh, y'all get a shout out on this
Music,
Monday.
money, marriage on a Monday.
Wavy going
Married to
crazy with
music.
the sound effects this Monday, you guys.
Hey, I finally learned how to work this thing.
It only took us almost the whole second season, 8 episodes.
Yeah, man. But welcome to episode 14 of the Married to Music podcast.
Hey.
I'm Wavy Wayne.
I'm Lydia Caesar.
And this podcast is all about what? What's this podcast even about?
It's about music.
Money.
And marriage.
Merge.
If you from the East Coast, it's marriage. If you from the Midwest, it's merge.
It's a merge. I thought it was all merge.
That's what you're saying. Merge or merge and merge.
Merging.
Okay.
Okay.
But merge and merge is the same in the Midwest.
Yes, we had
It's the same word.
We merged through our merge.
Right.
Oh, man.
That's the accents for you.
Yo, before we get started, big shout out to our sponsor, Sweetwater Sound. You know what I mean? They hooked us up with all this excellent gear for podcasting. We got the Shure SM7Bs.
That sounds so good, doesn't it?
Tascam Mixcast 4.
That's where all the gunshots come in.
We got a whole bunch of, hold up, let me get my gunshots back up. We got a whole bunch of camera angles switching and all that through the Roland VR4 HD. Oh, man. Make sure y'all get y'all studio gear from Sweetwater, all your podcasts you need. Link in the description. So, Lydia.
Yes.
I know that you're excited today because we got a good friend of yours coming on.
Yes, we have a super special guest today. This is going to be a great episode, you guys. Like, it's going to bring extreme value. We have...
Who we got?
My first manager ever.
Oh, man.
And he has gone on to manage, I'm going to read his bio for you guys because I want to do him justice. But he is a Queens, New York native, now living in LA. If you are an artist and you want to know about management, you want to know about Spotify playlisting, this the episode.
Okay.
Okay? So, let me get into this bio. Nigel Sparkes. His clients have received, under his management, 4 Grammy nominations, 3 platinum records for John Legend, Miguel, and Chris Brown, 2 gold records, Yo Gotti and Cash Cash. Okay. His current clients have 2 singles out, Rotimi, I Do, and Earthgang's All Eyes on Me. His clients have also done music for commercials for the NBA, NFL, Peloton, Nike, Oculus, and more. He has been a part of 4 #1 records. I know the Oculus one got you excited.
I was thinking
about
Peloton.
Peloton?
I'm trying to get a Peloton sponsorship myself. You know what I'm saying? Alex Toussaint, holla at your boy.
Okay. You know? Tunde, trying to get a song on Peloton. You know what I'm saying?
You know?
All that. So, yeah, let's welcome
Nigel.
to the room, Nigel Sparkes.
Let's get it. Welcome to the Married to Music podcast, my guy.
Give him some applause.
We did the applause, man.
It's low.
I ain't gonna turn it
up. Turn that
up. Man.
Lydia, Wayne, thanks for having me.
Yo, word up, man. I appreciate you taking some time out to bring some gems to our community today.
Absolutely.
And I'm interested to kind of hear about how you even got started with the whole management thing. I know Lydia always talks about how y'all kind of came up together, and yeah, I think y'all was in high school and you came to the first show with a suit on.
Well,
She's like, you a manager. I was like, okay.
This was after high school, but facts, Nigel was, I did a show and Nigel was there. I invited him just as a friend and he was like, yo, let me manage you. And at the time I was like, manage? What do I have to manage?
Right.
And he was like, trust me. So he just put me in a showcase. I wasn't even sure about the management thing yet. He put me in the showcase in New York and he showed up to the showcase in a suit. He had my bio and stuff in like folders.
Okay, he prepared. All
my friends was like, oh, Nigel is serious. And after that, I was like, well, let's do this. And we did a lot of great things together. So yeah, that's kind of our backstory. But please let's get into your journey and just how.
Yeah, how did you want to get involved in music management and the whole music scene, in general? What led you up to that point?
To be honest, it started in college.
Okay.
Right. So my mom's had died in 2002. Right. And my friends, they were rappers, recording artists. One of my friends, God bless his soul, Kevin James, his mom had also died when he was a kid. So me and him got really, really close because not too many people have experienced that together.
Yeah.
And he also was a rapper. So that, we used to hang out a lot. He had a studio in his room. And then a lot of his peers became my friends. And then they all was a bunch of rappers. And then they had to do a show for, we opened up for the Clips, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of helped them put that show together. And I was like the acting manager. I was the only person around that didn't rap or sing or do nothing. So they was like, yo, you in the business school, you the manager. I was like, all right, whatever. I don't know nothing about it, but whatever. And that's kind of like how it started. Like we did a lot of shows at Penn State. At the time, I threw all the parties. So it was like a natural transition. And then, we had a song playing at the football games. We used to be on the radio. We used to be in the newspaper. So I'm like, damn, I'm pretty good at this shit. So when I graduated, my friend that actually was on your show, Erica Martin, she was like, yo, you should check out Lydia. She's singing, da, 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 da. And that's how, me and Lydia reconnected after high school.
Yeah.
And then I came to the show, and then, the rest is kind of history. I just never stopped.
Dope.
Love it.
Man. So I think a lot of people really don't know what the job of a manager is for an artist or for anything. So can you explain that? Because I know it get real murky for a lot of people. What is the actual? What would you say your job description is as a manager?
That's a great question because we do everything.
Yeah.
Right. We make sure that we're the liaison between sometimes the lawyers and the artist, the label and the artist. We're like everything for the artist. We're the manager, we're the therapist, we're the financial advisor, we're the best friend, we're the shoulder to cry on. All that comes under the management title. They're like artists, they're like our kids.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the main job is really to make sure that all the business is set up, make sure the records are set up, make sure that the business is straight. Also, our job is to make sure that, we're promoting the artist brand in the right light and make sure that everyone on the team is doing what they're supposed to do. Everyone gets paid. It's a lot. It's a lot, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And I often tell artists to remember that, your manager works for you. Right. And I think that everything that you said is so key because there's a lot of managers out here who don't know all that. And don't do all that, and are not all of those things to their clients. And that's not proper management. You know what I mean? You really need to be well-rounded and know your client, know what your client wants, know what the end game is, so that you can be there through all those steps. So I love that you broke that down like that.
Word. So definitely a lot of, it's like babysitting, you say, when working with a client.
Absolutely.
How do you find the artists that you want to manage nowadays? Do you seek them out? Do they seek you out? What's their process of connecting, each other? How y'all get connected?
It varies because, as you guys know, there's a million artists out here.
Yeah.
And they all looking for management or they all want to be in the music business, et cetera, et cetera. So it's I'll go to shows, I'll scroll through, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music. But a lot of the clients that come to me are either clients that other people refer to me, or I met them along their journey in the studio. We kept in touch. Or someone I know just calls me and be like, yo, check out this artist or check out this producer or check out this songwriter. And those more times, 9 out of 10 are the clients that I normally get attracted to. It's hard to really find talent, especially now on the internet, because there's so many different ways you could be stretched.
Yeah.
And then you got, all these labels, they look for numbers, Spotify numbers and Instagram numbers and TikTok numbers. As a manager, we kind of really don't. Some of us look for things like that, but we look for for me, I look for the raw talent. I look for the voice. I look for how consistent the artist or producer or songwriter is with their music, how serious they are. Because when I started, I managed some people who I wanted it more than them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson that I had to learn. A manager could never want it more than the client or the artist or the producer or the songwriter. They have to work just as hard or even harder than we do so that the marriage the merge, like you would say, makes sense.
No, that's facts. You should want it the most as an artist. You should, nobody on your team should be going harder for you than you. That is major key.
For sure.
And artists need to know that, because a lot of times, and this is going to lead into my next question, a lot of times artists are looking for a manager to come in and like save the day, you know, and like make you pop. And a manager is supposed to help you pop and help save the day, but they're not just supposed to come in and swoop you up and take you to these new levels and new heights without you really being the one like giving them consistent work to be able to manage.
Right.
So
Exactly.
my question to you is, what should how should artists, from the artist perspective, how should they go about finding a manager? And then also, when do you think is the right time for an artist to like need a manager?
Right.
That's a great question, because sometimes there's artists or producers or songwriters who have nothing to manage.
Right.
Right? They got nothing going on. They're not doing anything. They just want someone to come in and do everything for them. Right. So an artist should look for a manager at the time where they feel like they're overwhelmed. Right. They're recording music. They're getting music mixed, mastered. They're trying to do rollout plans and have some sort of fan base, like at least be able to do a show and sell 20 tickets.
Period.
Right.
Put a claps
Something you
for
gotta
that.
start with.
Put a claps. Because this is something that I promote and say all the time. You got to be able to sell tickets. At least 10 or 20 people should be able to come out and see you.
That's the key right there, Lydia. A lot of people don't understand. Bringing people to your shows is the key. Like, you could stream 100,000 streams for your song and not be able to sell 10 tickets. That's a big problem.
That's a fact.
But if you could stream 100,000 and sell 100 tickets,
Damn.
now everyone in the music business is like, oh, who is this?
Yes.
The agents want to come, the managers want to come, the lawyers want to come, because you're actually filling up those seats. You actually turn someone from listening to your music to spending $20 to come see you perform.
And they time to come out somewhere, right?
That conversion
Yep.
rate.
What do you think is like the disconnect between artists being able to get numbers on streams and get people actually out in seats and out your shows?
I think being personable with the fan, right? So there's a lot of people that don't communicate with their audience, with their community. It's like, it's a two-way street, right? You can't just take. You got to give. They want to learn from you actually personally, and social media actually has allowed that to happen, right?
Yep.
People comment, and, a fan feels special when, a Lydia responds to that comment. She may not know that, but they feel like, oh my gosh, she took the time out to respond to me. Right? Like, because they look at artists as superheroes sometimes, right? And if the superhero can respond to them, that's kind of how you start to build the super fan.
Absolutely.
And that's what every artist wants, a super fan. A super fan buys the merch, sells the tickets, promotes you to their friends.
Yes.
And that starts with just having that one-on-one conversation, possibly at a show or through social media.
Yeah.
Okay, word up. That's definitely gems. So definitely making sure that your online streams are translating into real life and being able to get people out to see your shows, because you can't just do it all online. Okay.
But I also,
Exactly.
that's another topic. If you just want to live online and in that space, cool. But I think one of the disconnects too is sometimes what's online is not in real life.
What you mean?
Like, there's a lot of catfishing. There's a lot of artistry catfishing happening. So I think that is the disconnect sometimes, where, the numbers may be fake online. Right. So you have a lot of, fake followers and you appear to be popping, and then you can't get nobody out to a show, or your talent is not as raw and dope as it is online in person.
Without your engineer and all that. You got to bring the engineer to
without
the
Wavy Wayne on the boards, you sound a little crazy. So that can be a disconnect too. So it's really important to work on your craft and hone your skills so that disconnect doesn't happen.
For sure.
For example, like going back to the show and performing live, right? So say you're a singer, like say you're a real singer. And, the producers and the engineers, like, you don't got to do all that singing. It's a record. When you perform it live, you could really showcase just vocal ability.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And as a rapper, like, for example, a lot of people probably seen the verses with Jada Kiss and Dipset and the Locks, right?
Yeah.
You look at that show, Jada Kiss took the time out to kind of freestyle, even though we all know the freestyle, but that aspect of the show, you can't really do online. People come to your show and they see you freestyle off the top of your head. They don't get to see that normally. That adds more excitement to the show. They'll be like, wow, like I really like this artist performance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Adding some showmanship for sure.
Yeah. Very important. So let's talk about the records. Like, you have a lot of accolades and you've secured a lot of records for your artists. Let's talk a little bit about the placement game, right? For those of you watching who may be new to this and don't know, like, placements are basically when you write or produce and your songs land on some major records, on other artists' albums. Those are called placements. How do you secure placements? I know that's like a tough question to answer, but let's talk a little bit just about that climate, like the placement game and like what all it takes to actually land records.
That's a tough, difficult task, right?
Yes.
But to be honest, like everything in life is all about relationships.
Yes.
Right? All about relationships. Like, one of the hardest part in the music business is getting an executive or a major artist or a major producer or major engineer to even listen to your music.
Man.
Right? So as a manager, what our job is to get those people to press play. And once they press play, you know, music is subjective. It's up to them if they like it or if they don't like it. Right? But you have to maintain that relationship over time and just keep pushing, keep knocking on the door, because you're going to have something. But at the end of the day, it's all about the music. Like, even when I managed you, Lydia, and we went to record labels and we pressed play, that's all it was about. I could sell them all I want on you, but once they press play, they're like, oh man, this girl can sing. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about the relationship, getting people to press play. And then you got to think about it like this, right? Every artist come up in the business with their own team, their own set of producers, their own set of songwriters, their own engineer, right? So you're on the outside looking in, trying to get on these projects, right? So you actually have to beat out everyone in their camp.
Yes.
Have a record better than everyone in their camp. So 9 out of 10, that's going to be the hit or the single. You can't come with a B-side to a major artist and expect to get on the album, because it's like, all right, we got 1 million of those.
Right.
And then another thing is, like, songwriters and producers, they try to give the artist the exact same thing that they had on the last album. It's like, everyone is doing that. Listen to their voice. Listen to what they talk about. Looking at social media, try to dictate what's going on in their lives, and then write a song that they don't have, right? And then, you know, a lot of people try to, I'm writing a song for Chris Brown, I'm writing a song for Neo or John Legend. You really don't have to do that. A great song always finds a home, whether it's you written 10 years ago or last night. It's going to find a home if it's a great song. So it's like, a lot of clients or up-and-comers, they're like, oh, who should we work on today? I'm like, how are y'all feeling? Just write a great song. It doesn't matter who the artist is. If you write a great song, the artist is going to hear that and want that song.
Facts. And that's major, because, you know, when you're chasing placements, like you said, a lot of artists will get on and listen to like Chris Brown records and make records that sound exactly like Chris Brown records. Right. And I'm like, he got 30 of those records already.
He's looking for something new now.
Yeah, you know, and maybe he don't even know he's looking for something new.
Right.
You just present such a fire record that this is the new sound, you know? So that's important, because it's really competitive.
Another thing is, like, you have to always be a student too. You got to look at the charts. You got to see what's going on the radio. You got to kind of like remember what happened in the 80s and the 90s and kind of predict what's going on sonically, right? Like, if y'all listen to The Weeknd's new album, he's a pop artist, but he sounds, the record sounds like it's made in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it sounds nothing like what's on radio right now. So it's like,
wow,
you know, you want to be able to give that artist that next sonic so that they can enhance their career to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And set the trends instead of chasing the trends.
And I'm going to give you a tip too. Like, placements is cool, but you want to build with new artists. Like, if you really want to make your career, I tell all my clients, right? Yeah, the Neos, the John Legends, the Futures, the Yo Gottis, they're going to allow you to earn a living. But when you break the nobody, that's going to make your career. If you look at all the producers and songwriters who everyone looks up to, you can always attach them to an artist that they broke.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Big facts.
Wow.
And that's kind of what I was I was saying this on one of my videos I think I made for YouTube, but basically instead of everybody like reaching up, you know, as you beginning, reach to the side of you and come up with people, right? Come up with an engineer, come up with a producer, with a songwriter, and y'all go up together, and that you know that can definitely, like you said, make your career.
That's what that's something that Issa Rae said too, famously in one of her interviews. Like she's like, everybody trying to network up when you're supposed to be networking to the side.
Facts.
And when how she really came on is like all her friends was in her Awkward Black Girl, like all her peers.
Yeah.
The people who was trying to be on were the people that she hired to do the video, you know, the all the production, and they've come up in a major way. So yeah, networking to the left and right versus up is definitely smart.
So I got a question. Like once you actually find an artist or a producer or songwriter that you know that you believe in and that you want to work with, and you're like, all right, let's do this. What's like the first 3 steps like that you're gonna do from there? Like what's the first couple of things that you're gonna put in place for that artist, or you know how you move after that?
For me, I want to have a conversation with them. I want to see what's going on in their life, you know, and kind of understand the dynamic that I'm about to get married to, because it's really a marriage, right?
Yes.
So a lot of managers will date a client before we get married.
Okay.
And when I talk about get married, means bring a contract into the situation,
Gotcha.
right? So we'll date them, we'll go to the studio, we'll ask them about their life, like, especially with an artist, I want to know, like, what do you want to, what's your goals? What do you want to do? What is the story that you want to tell the world, right? And then I want to see them in the studio. I want to see how consistent, how serious they are. And then, you know, if everyone is serious, then, you know, we'll do a contract. Pardon me. We'll do a contract, and then we'll move from there, right? So once we do a contract, you know, they got to get their lawyer. Our lawyers come together. And then once the contract is signed, that's when we start to move. We come out with a plan of action. How are we going to do this, that, and the third? How are we going to do the content creation? And it's all about the execution, really. So I want to know and make sure that I'm going to work and my client is going to work, and that everything can work together.
Yeah. So let's talk about money. Okay. How do managers get paid?
Word up. What's in them contracts?
Ooh. He's like, whoo.
we are the last people to get paid, to be honest. Right?
Like the hardest job and the least, you know, pay for it. That's crazy.
Yep. So it's like, that's why I said you got to have something to manage, right? Because a lot of people have nothing to manage. So it's hard for them to get a manager, because the manager's going to be like, I got to build this from scratch.
So that means you basically saying that they got to have some type of money coming in already. You got to be like getting booked for shows or having stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily, right? Because, you know, some managers, they only look for talent like that. They got revenue being generated. But, you know, other managers, it just got to be doing something. You could be having high engagement on social media. It's just something that you could do. And then a manager can see, like, I can monetize this, or I can scale this, or I can add some type of value to the table to earn some revenue for the client, right? You know what I'm saying? So they have to be doing something. You can't just not do anything and just be talented in your bedroom and be like, I need the A-list manager in the music business to pick me up, right? Because then at that point, they might pick you up and you might get a shitty contract.
Yeah, because they're going to take all the money because we're doing all the work. Period. And rightfully so.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so basically you eat only if the artist eats.
Only if the artist eats.
Okay.
Only. So our job is to really make sure that the artist, producer, or songwriter makes money. Because if they don't make no money, we don't make no money.
Yeah.
And we can't feed our families. And then they get mad at us because they're not making no money.
Right.
So,
right. So just a bunch of hangry people out there.
Yeah.
Going in a circle.
So what is a typical percentage? Like what do managers on average, like if, you know, somebody's watching and they got a contract, what should they be expecting to see that the manager wants to get percentage wise?
So on average, it's 15 to 20%. Okay. Right. So a manager would take 15% if you have stuff going on. If you actually have something to manage and there's revenue coming in, you can negotiate down to 15% because you have leverage. The business is all about leverage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
If you're a new artist, you don't really have much going on, and the manager's seasoned, they're gonna come and take 20%. A new manager may come and take 15 because they don't know any better. They don't know how much work they have to do. But a seasoned manager gonna come in and take 20%. But if you're making some money, you can negotiate whatever you want. You can negotiate manager to 7.5% because you're making XYZ dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Business is all about leverage and how to use that leverage to your benefit.
Nice.
What I was gonna say? Oh, what? And that percentage is a percent of what per se? Like, is that like a 360 percentage, or you getting percentage of everything? The sales, the contracts, shows, merch, or where you getting your percentage from?
So as a manager, you get a percentage of everything.
Okay.
Everything in the business, right? Because you're actually working on all aspects. You're working with the manufacturer to make sure that the merch is coming out on time. Mm-hmm. You're working with, the tour managers, the booking agents. You're actually working in all aspects for your client, right? So you're entitled to that percentage for all aspects of the business. Now, if the artist is signed to a production deal, that may change, right? The production company may have 360 ancillary rights, or they may not have. They may have, they may get 50% of the recording, but only 15% of the merch sales, right? So the manager gets 20% overall, but other entities get other percentages.
Right.
Right. Now, can you do what does a management contract look like that's like, itemized? Like, okay, well, you only get a percentage of like what you bring to the table. Is that a thing, or is that not a thing?
I mean, that's a thing if it's non-exclusive.
Okay.
Right. So most management agreement is exclusive because you can't really have 10 managers claiming they manage you. Because now it looks like to an executive, this artist is all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. So your business really got to be in order. You can't have 3 people saying they represent you, because you come to someone like me or my peers, they're gonna be like, it seems like a headache.
A lot of hands in the pot.
Y'all get your shit together and then come back around later on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you kind of want to be serious. This it takes time, right? So I have contracts with clients that's like 18 months, and then there's an option, right? So if 18 months we can't see that we're progressing, you have the option to leave, right?
Yeah.
I also have the option to leave.
Yeah.
But after 18 months, if things are going, it could extend to 3 years. Because really, the average contract is 3 years. It's going to take like 3 years to kind of like really build. But
for sure.
At 18 months, if it's not working out, both parties have the option to walk away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's fair. Some contracts is not like that. It's 3 years standard. But I feel like, the client should have some type of option if it's not working out. Because it's going to turn into a headache, and I'd rather have 0 headaches and 10 earners than, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Word up. That's good stuff right there.
Okay, so you want to pivot a little bit to
the merge?
To some relationship talk. Nigel, are you in a relationship?
I'm not in a relationship right now.
Okay.
But most of my career I was.
Okay. Okay, well, look.
Was it the career that made trouble for you in the relationships?
I was about to ask that same question.
I'll be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
In both of our relationships.
How
absolutely.
so? How so? We need answers.
We do, and I like this perspective because it's different.
Because in the music business, you're around women all the time. All right. So you have to be with a partner that's secure in your relationship, right? And also, as a man, you have to make sure that your partner feels secure, right? Go both ways.
Yes.
And trust is very, very, very important.
Yeah.
You got to have trust. Without trust in this business, no relationship is going to last.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be men that try. Say you have a girl that's in the business. There's going to be men that try to hit on your girl for sure, and then there's going to be women that's going to try to hit on you as well, right? So you have to, there's a time and a place for everything. And when you have a significant other, you have to respect that relationship, or, shit happens. Shit always happens. You know what I'm saying? This is the music business. Everybody hear the stories. Yes, shit always happens.
The stories
That's
are
why
true,
trust
you
is
guys.
important.
Yeah.
Like I can't be with a girl right now if we don't have trust. Trust is like the number one thing, right? And she has to be secure with herself and in our relationship because I'm gonna be around women all the time. It doesn't mean that I'm doing anything. I may be around women 4:00 in the morning. I had a problem with one of my girls. She had a problem because I was in a strip club, right? But I'm not a strip club type of person. I just go in a strip club because that's what the culture was. Right. That's where records are being broken. And part of my business, I need to know how records are reacting in the club, what records are doing well, what records are not doing well. Because when I go back to the studio, I can hear stuff like, this will bang in the club or this ain't gonna bang in the club.
Right.
But she hated when I went to the strip club because she think I'm there shaking ass and titties, throwing money. But I'm really in the DJ booth watching records perform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I'm coming home 6:00 in the morning. Now she got an attitude. She's sleeping on her side. She don't want to touch me. Like shit like that. Like, come on, I'm not talking about that.
I can't. Oh, man. I mean, there's definitely, and I like this perspective because it's important to know like the truths about relationships and how they can really unfold in this industry. Like without the trust, it doesn't matter. Like nothing matters without trust and like really great communication. Right. And especially in a climate where you're always around people, insecurity has no place in any relationship, but especially in a relationship in the industry. So are you hopeful for finding somebody, or are you good?
I mean, of course I'm hopeful.
Or maybe both. Okay. Okay.
I think she was just saying, because
a lot of
enjoying living your single and free life.
Well, I asked that because I know a lot of people who are not hopeful. Like my little sister has no hope.
She's like, man, it's a dud out here.
It's a dud. She is like, look, y'all give me hope a little bit. Y'all are cute and all that, but I still ain't got no hope. Like, ain't nobody out here for me, and I ain't never gonna find nobody, and I'm gonna live a single life. Like, that's how she thinks. And I don't know if she'll always think like that, but I'm wondering if you're at a place where you are like over it, or if you still, are striving to find somebody to like share your life with on like a.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like I said, I'm a positive person, so I don't never think of the negative, right? And I come from marriage. My parents were married for 27 years before my mom passed away. My grandparents were married for 40-something years before my grandmother passed away. So I want to have a family, be married. So I'm hopeful and positive, but I'm enjoying my single life. So it's like,
period.
I know what I want and what I don't want. So there's a lot of, like your sister said, it's crazy out here, but I have hope. There's hope. There's definitely, my soulmate's out there somewhere. She might be in Paris. She might be in Australia. You know what I'm saying?
She might be at the strip club.
She might be at the strip. I don't think she at the strip club, Nigel.
Hey, you never know, man.
You got to keep an open mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But enjoy everything that comes along the way.
Yeah. No, and that's great too. Like, if you single, like, live that up. Because any day you can meet the one, and that can change. I feel like I see too many single people like sad or like looking for a relationship. I'm like, while you in that moment, live in that moment. Because when that person comes along, your life can possibly be changed forever, and you can never go back to that singleness.
Yeah. I got a question, but it's a little off of this topic right here. I kind of want to go and talk on the Spotify placements a little bit.
Oh yeah,
because I know that you work with that, and so you see that. I see it on Instagram all the time, man. Honestly, so many people like, yo, give me X amount of dollars and get you on a Spotify placement, or this is how we doing that. Like, for one, I guess my question is behind that, like, does that work, getting on Spotify placements? Is it something that artists should be trying to do? Like, and is it? And it's been going on for a few years now. Is it dying off, or is it still just as big as it ever was?
And just for a correction, it's playlists.
Playlists, right,
yes.
right. Getting on the Spotify playlist action.
That's a great question. Because there was an article in Rolling Stones came out last year, basically said that artists need to get on playlists.
Okay.
Right? Because it allows their music to be heard by more like audience. It's like a mixture, right? You know, you listen to the radio, not the program, but the DJ's playing a bunch of different records.
Yes.
That's what Spotify playlists are. It's a mixture, right? So one, it gives you, you know, some fans. It gives you some monthly listeners. You can look at the data to see how well people are reacting to your song. Because we live in a digital world and numbers mean everything, it's still important. But you have to start to see and pay attention to the engagement, right? So if you're on a playlist, you want to look at your save rate. How many people are actually saving the song versus how many listeners? I'll give you a little insight. Labels take us on the radio if it's 15% or higher. If your save rate is 15% or higher on a song, the label will take it to radio because the engagement is very high.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Spotify playlists are important. They, you know, it's just one aspect of the whole thing. A lot of people just only want to do Spotify playlists. And you know, I've done campaigns for labels. I've done campaigns for artists, independent artists. I've done campaigns for my clients. And the songs that thrive the most are the ones where, you know, you're doing playlisting, you're doing YouTube stuff, you're doing TikTok, you're putting out content, you're engaging with your fans. Because like, it's not a one-stop shop. It's like everything has to work together.
Yes.
And one thing may take off, and then, you know, a person may see you on YouTube and then go to your Spotify and be like, damn, I didn't know this person had 60,000 monthly listeners of this song is doing this well. Yeah. Because it's still smoke and mirrors. It's entertainment, everybody. Right. People want to see numbers. Yeah. And when they see numbers, they jump on the bandwagon. Yeah. Right? Nobody wants to support you until they see other people supporting you.
Period.
Right? So that's what it's good for. And you have to like use it. Playlist has died down over the past, I want to say, year because of TikTok, but it's still important. Like TikTok, we're seeing some of these campaigns where the song is doing so well that there's spillage. And what I mean by spillage is that they start to stream the song on Spotify or Apple Music. They start to watch the video on YouTube, all because of TikTok, right? Spotify is not really, you don't really see that much spillage. Right. They made
because it's the whole song. You know what I mean? Yes. Like you get the whole pie right there. So you don't have to go nowhere else. TikTok, you only get a piece of the song. And so that's why that's such a smart avenue, because then people want to hear the rest.
And see what else you're doing.
And they go to what they listen to, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. And then boom, you start to see like, you know, I have clients and they're like, we're gonna do a TikTok campaign, then a Spotify campaign. And I'll be like, all right, do the TikTok campaign, and then we'll kick in the Spotify campaign 2 to 3 weeks later to see if there's any spillage, right? To really see like how well the song is doing. Then we'll kick in the Spotify, because everything, you know, adds up. And then, you know, this is very difficult for independent artists because all of this costs money.
Period.
Now, what?
Right? Whether.
Go ahead. I got a question. We'll finish
now whether, you know, it costs money to create the content. It costs money to edit the content. It costs money to mix and master your records. It costs money to hire a promoter to get the song in front of Spotify curators or TikTok influencers or anything. Everything costs money. You need a publicist. You need everything costs money.
I mean, it takes a lot of money to break a record, for real.
So you should.
What was it?
Step 1: rob a bank.
Okay, man.
But who was it? It was either Coach K or Pete that said it costs $200,000 to break a record, and they are absolutely right.
Yeah, I think that somebody was quoting $300,000 recently. Now, like
that's a lot. That's a really
for sure.
And
you know
that's that money.
I was just going to say, I know you guys watching, I know that's discouraging, but stay in it. Stay. Because, I mean, I don't know anybody who just got $200,000 for one song, you know? And that can be very, very discouraging. But you got this. Stay in the game.
But you got to think about it in pieces, right? People see the whole $200,000, like, I ain't got that. But it's not done $200,000 at a time, right? You may start with $10K and look at the data. Because we have the internet, we have data, right? And it's very important to analyze the data, because you may put 10K up and then you start to make 2,500. You got to reinvest.
Right.
Okay. You may not start with a whole 200K. You don't need a whole 200K. You just got to spend the money wisely and get a return on your investment. Like, so you may spend, say you may spend $5,000 on your record, right? But then you sell merch, you do shows, right? The merch and the shows and the streaming revenue gonna make you $7,000. Right.
So now you
So you
2,000
made your
over.
$5,000
Right.
back. Now you have 7, and you can put the 5,000. You know what I'm saying, and continue to go. It's all about being consistent, right?
And reinvesting your money back into the business. Remember that what y'all doing as an artist is a business. So when you get profits, put the profits back into the business.
Don't get that Louis bag, okay, with that extra $2,000 that you made. Put it right back.
Word up.
So that you can keep pushing the record forward.
And that's the key. Another thing artists don't do is they don't own their music, right? They'll get with a producer and put the song out, all right? If the song blows up, you do know that the producer owns 100% of that song because you don't have a contract with the producer, right? So 100% of that revenue could go to the producer because you didn't do no deal with the producer, right?
You didn't have your business together.
It's important to network across because now if you network across, it could be a producer that you know and be like, yo, listen, we're going to split this 50-50. Let's do it from now before we put the song out. Right. Because a lot of people go back after the song and try to do the business. The producer's like, yo.
And the mind don't remember well after the money on the table. I'm pretty sure I wrote this too.
I mean, when you got $1 million check in your hand and you like, you want what?
Right.
How much you want?
How much you want? No. I did all this work on my own. Right.
And
people start forgetting.
You did everything as an artist. Your song blew up. The producer come in and be like, yo, I want all of that money with his lawyer, and he's entitled to it because of how the laws go. Wow. Right. So it's very important. This is where a manager comes in too. And I tell independent artists all the time, you need to own the songs if you're gonna put it out, right? So, producer automatically owns the master recording. So you need to do a deal with them to make that master recording revert to you and give them a royalty, right? If you can't give them an advance, you got to give them a high royalty, or you can split it 50-50, whatever makes sense for both parties. But it's very important to own your music because streaming is only one revenue stream, right? Sync licensing is a whole nother ballgame.
Yes, indeed.
You could get your song in a commercial, for example, or on a television show or in a movie, and they're paying $30,000 per side. And when I say per side, you have two sides to a song. You have a master recording side, and then you have the publishing side, right? So they're paying $30,000 per side. So you as the artist, if you own that record by yourself and only have to pay a royalty, that $30,000 goes to you. And yes, you pay the royalty to the producer. And then on the publisher side, whoever wrote the song, they split that $30,000, right? So it's very important to have your business in order because sync licenses, they love independent artists. It's easy to clear.
Yes.
It's cheap.
Way cheaper.
Right? So it's very important to have your business in order. Know who wrote the song, know who gets what percentage. So when these opportunities come, all you got to do is like, here.
Now, can this be done with something as simple as a split sheet? Like when you, at the time of the song is created, like when you're in the studio, all right, this is the percentages for the writers, this is percentage for the producer, and who owns what. Is that as simple as it is, or is it more complicated than that?
When it comes to the publisher aspect, yes. It's very simple, just like that. When it comes to the master recording aspect, it's not as simple because the producer technically owns the master until it's transferred to either the label or the artist.
How you do that?
Up to the artist. Huh?
How do you get it transferred to you as an artist?
You got to do a deal with the producer, right? So you got to talk to your lawyer, right? Or there might be some blank templates online right now. And it's basically saying, listen, you producer is going to give X artist the rights to this song 100%. And in return, you're going to get, either an advance plus a royalty, or if there's no advance, only the royalty, or we're going to split the master 50-50, right? So you can get that online or you can get it from your attorney, but it's very important to have that because if a song blows up, all your business is in order. No one's fighting pennies.
Why does the producer own the master recording? I thought that the master recording was owned by like basically whoever puts the money up to get the recording done. That's not the case.
According to the copyright law, the producer is actually creating it, right? So that's why they get a producer.
Okay. Producer, are we talking about the beat maker?
Right? No, because I produce I work with producers, but I produce all my songs.
Say, I ain't hit the button, but I produced it.
Yeah. So there you go. So if you took part in the production,
Right.
you take part in the master recording.
Okay.
Right. So that all comes down to it, right? So it's like, according to the copyright law, the producer actually owns the master until it's reverted to the label. That's why songwriters don't have no producer agreements. Songwriters don't have no agreements. The labels have agreements with the producers because they need to get the rights to the song.
Okay.
That's why they give them a producer advance for the rights and a royalty.
Right.
Right. The artists have to do the same thing. And because you're independent, a lot of times you can split the master with an up-and-coming producer. Right. You can split it. Or if it's an established producer, they may want to hold most of the master, or they may hold the master until a certain percentage to a certain money is made, and then it reverts to the artist. It's like there's so many ways you can do the business, but you can't get no sync license if that business is not done.
Right.
That's deep.
And a producer could actually take your song down. You can put the song on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Like, fuck that motherfucker. And then that person calls their lawyer, and the next you know, the lawyer sends out a letter, and your song is removed because you didn't give them the rights. They didn't give you the right to put it out.
To put it out there. Ooh, it's getting thick.
So you might as well just buy your beats. And so like when you are here with the beat stars, because that's when I know it get murky over there. You like,
man,
you think you buying exclusive rights through beat stars and stuff like that, but I don't know what them contracts is really saying, man.
Yeah, I mean, because the way BeatStars works, like, because I'm on BeatStars, I've sold hooks to 10 people, and then somebody wants to buy the exclusive, and so we sell them the exclusive and take the beat down, but them other 10 people before already bought it
and put the song out
and put it out there. So
yeah, because they bought a license from you, and then the other person bought an exclusive.
Right. So
you got to figure out how y'all do the business with that. Once the person buys exclusive, does the license just go away? Or
right.
How long is the license for?
That's the part that gets really sticky.
Because if I got the exclusive, all right, y'all can all take y'all stones down now,
No, but that's definitely not. I know that's not how it works. At least in the agreements for
right
that we have in place. You can purchase the exclusive, but that there may be people previously to you. It's just like no one else is going to be able to purchase this. It's not available anymore. But if a few people bought it before you,
how is that exclusive?
It ain't. Is the bottom line. I mean, but people people don't mind. Yeah. I mean, first of all, if you're into beat leasing, you obviously don't mind sharing. You believe so much so that yours is going to be the one.
Right.
Yeah.
Your recording is going to be the one. Listen, when you think about the fact that Old Town Road was a leased beat off of BeatStars.
Mm-hmm.
That alone will let me get on BeatStars and find me a beat and make it do what it do. So I think that's why people don't care. At the end of the day, it's great music, it's affordable, and that self-belief will make you do a lot of things.
Word up.
All right.
So, I had one more question. So, what is I see you saying TikTok campaign. What does a TikTok campaign look like for an artist?
I'm trying to start one.
I mean, a TikTok campaign basically is you get the song to influencers and they make content around your song, but you want the influencer to make content that they normally would make. You don't want them to make, like, if they're like dance, you don't want them to be cooking with your song because their audience is not expecting them to be cooking. You know what I'm saying? So you want your song to go to influencers and they have to create content around your song. Right. It should be specific to the lyrics that adds more value.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you'll see songs that don't make no sense to what's going on in the video.
Right.
Those really don't translate.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very important. If you're going to do a campaign, you want to get people that's actually going to make content around the song that makes sense to the song. Because people will charge you, and then your song is on some bullshit video, and you spent some money for it, and then the real no traction. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, for sure. Like, I mean, a great example for anybody interested is the His and Hers challenge. Like, that song by Money Long that's doing great right now. The challenge I saw is just like romantic couples montages of their relationship with this great love song in the background. And then it's his and hers challenge. And then you get all the people who are in love to make the challenge. So, and then it makes sense. The visuals match the music. And that's when you really resonate with the masses, I think, because it just makes sense to them. They see it, they hear it, they get it right away. And they want to share it and do it and be a part of it. So look out for the legendary love challenge that's coming soon.
Yo, so I know that you
Period.
You actually help people to facilitate getting placed on Spotify playlists. Do you also like help with people trying to do TikTok campaigns too? Is that some like a service you offer?
So my company playliststreams.com, we do the Spotify stuff, but then I'm associated with songinfluencer.com. And they do the TikTok stuff. So I personally don't do it, but a really good friend of mine who actually taught me the Spotify business does the TikTok stuff.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Because so definitely. So what's your website again?
Playliststreams.com.
Playliststream.com. And then the other one, if they want to do some TikTok stuff.
Songinfluencer.com.
All right.
There you go. Listen, gems, y'all.
Yeah.
Take your career into your own hands. Start with the $5,000 investment. Maybe you only have $1,000. Maybe you only have $500. Start where you are. When you make that back and then some, put it back in the pot and keep going.
So, Nigel, you've been dropping gems on us all day. I guess one last thing I want to know is like, what kind of advice would you tell someone who is like up and coming and want to be in your position of management and being able to help artists facilitate their careers?
All right. I would give them this, right? When I started the music business, I didn't know anything. Right? Lydia took a chance on me because I was a hustler. But if you want to do this, you have to know the business. One thing I did do, I read all the books.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was one of the questions. What's your book recommendation? One book that you could, if you could only recommend
or two
one.
or three.
It's too many.
Right? Yo, well, what's your favorite?
This Business of Music.
Okay.
Right. Is one of them. My favorite is Music, Money, and Success because it really talks about publishing. And then there's another one that's a classic, How to Make It in the Music Business.
That's the one I knew you was
everyone knows that one.
Yeah.
Like that's the first book I've read. But read the books, find people that you want to look up to. Like, for example, I look up to Troy Carter. So every interview he does, I watch. I study him.
Yes.
He gave me book recommendations. I read all the book recommendations. So kind of like, find people that you want to look up to. You can follow them on social media nowadays. Read all the books and just listen to the interviews.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast. You can really get a lot of gems from podcasts and interviews. And just you really it's a people business. You gotta be outside or be online. And you have to connect with people in a genuine way.
Yes.
Genuine way. Like, I'm going to give you an example. I'm really good friends with Roddy Jerkins, Darkchild, right? When I met Roddy, was playing basketball. We didn't talk about music for a year and a half. So, like, we have a genuine relationship.
Deep. You guys, this is major. Stop. As soon as you meet somebody, you got your phone. Listen to my song. Don't. It don't work. It doesn't work. You have to connect on a genuine level first. I know your music is fire, but pump the brakes. Develop relationships first before you trying to play your song to Wavy Wayne when you see him in the street. He ain't trying to hear it.
Or pop up in my studio.
Just playing your song. You just calm down, and cultivate some relationships first. So I love that. A whole year y'all didn't talk about music. That's so dope.
Dope, man. That's some dope advice. So you say read the books and find mentors. People can be your mentors without you ever having to meet them in real life. Because if they got content online, interviews, books that they've read themselves, anything they publishing, by you following those people and taking in what they giving you, like basically they your mentor.
They are.
So you can pick your mentors. You can pick your counsel. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you another gem. How I met Troy Carter, because I followed him and know what he was doing. When I met him, so I worked with John Legend. He was managing John at the time. When I met Troy, I knew he was heavy in tech. So I mentioned to him, not even about music. We connected on tech. He gave me his information, his phone number, his email, and then everything else is history because I knew that he was into tech heavy.
See, because
So
you studied.
that was the door that allowed me to get in, and then we started to talk about music and everything else.
Yes. Strategy, baby. It's chess.
You gotta hit people at different angles sometimes, because I know everybody is running up to, Rodney Jerkins talking about, listen to this, let me, I got this producer, I got this,
Right.
like, bro, like, let me get to know you first, because a lot of times especially when you establish at that level, you really only want to do stuff that you care about.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to do it. I don't need to be chasing a bag.
Yeah.
So if I want to do it, it's because I want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's important to remember that everybody's a human being, like these people are not just their careers. They have other interests. And if you don't bring value to the table for them, it may not be worth it because they've done it all.
Exactly.
So when you remember those things, you will approach, people of influence in a way more smart and meaningful way.
For sure.
Yep.
So yeah, Nigel, thank you so much for this. This was
Thanks
great.
for having me.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, where can people reach out to you to do more? We know we got your website.
What's your social handles?
Is it playliststreams.com?
Playliststreams.com, my website. My social handle is my name at Nigel Sparkes, Sparkes, because everybody forgets the E before the S. So it's Nigel Sparkes, and you can reach me there.
All right.
Word up, Nigel.
Dope.
Thanks for coming through and sharing these gems with us today, man. Yo, make sure y'all tap into the Married to Music podcast every Monday. Shout out to Sweetwater.
Yes,
you already
yes.
know. Lydia, you got anything more you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Go in love and light. Hey.
And on that note,
Married to music. Tune in every Monday.
Oh yeah.
We're trying to get our ends up.
We're not trying, we getting them up.
Money, marriage on a Monday. Married to music.